Shigeru is an ugly salary man who thinks life cannot possibly get any worse than this. But when he gets a shot at a second life, he jokingly picks the worst stats and turns into the anime version of Kesso, losing all chances of ever getting any women. Because of his ugly mug, he's forced to live his second life alone. But it's not the end of the world for him yet, because the system secretly gives him god-level hidden skills, making him an epic fighter. I'm not even exaggerating when I say Shigeru Yoshioka has the ugliest face in anime history. Or at least that is what Shigeru himself believes. He is a salesman, but never gets any respect from his colleagues. Because of his ugly mug still, he works earnestly to live his life to the fullest. One day as he is traveling by train, a young woman accuses him of touching her plot, which he didn't, but still, he gets beaten up and thrown out of the train, just because he looks like a molester. It doesn't end there, as the woman files a case against him, and he ends up going to court, but knowing that no one here is going to believe his side of the story, just because he looks ugly, he pleads guilty. As a result, he is fired from his job, and goes through the worst midlife crisis imaginable. A few years later, the woman who falsely accused him finally gets arrested for framing many others as molesters to get money out of them. But nothing changes for Shigeru. He continues to suffer from this trauma and completely shuts himself in his apartment, spending all of his savings and the money his parents left him. The only thing that interests him is news of others going through misery on the internet, and one particular night, he comes across an article that claims if you try this sketchy ritual, you can get transported to an isekai world. Not having anything better to do, Shigeru performs the ritual, and it works, prompting a screen on his computer that asks him to press the next button if he wishes for a new life, but gives the warning that he would have to sacrifice half of his lifespan if he wishes to return. At first, Shigeru suspects this is just a virus and decides to play with it, thinking he can reset his PC later. As he presses the next button, another interface appears, asking him to enter his information. The default age is already encoded as 16, and the only information he is able to change, conveniently, is his looks. Anyone in their right mind would increase their looks to the maximum amount, but not Shigeru. He inputs -255 and goes to the next menu, getting 13,000 points for turning down his looks. Using those points, he can increase his base stats, but he leaves it empty for now. There's a special note where the user can add anything extra for their character, and Shigeru writes a bunch of negative values, like his income rate would be 0.001%. If he touches a girl, he will lose 10% of his max HP, and if he gets intimate with a girl, he will be torn to shreds immediately and lose his life. Because of adding such absurd stats, Shigeru's overall stats are automatically increased by 1000%, and his bonus parameter reaches 1,000,000,000,000 points. But before he can allocate any of these points, he runs out of time and is teleported without getting any benefits at all. Bro, honestly, I can't even write the next part. It's so funny. I'm just gonna let the clip play for you guys. Goes into shock. What he did seconds ago as a joke has now turned into a brutal and hilarious reality. There are two other girls and a guy in the house where Shigeru woke up, and the girls aren't dressed at all. They catch a cold. So the guy with six packs takes his shirt off and offers it to one of them. Shigeru takes his shirt off as well, but the other girl refuses to take his for obvious reasons. The guy introduces himself to Shigeru as Seiji, who's also aged 16 like Shigeru in this world. The two girls introduce themselves as well. They are Rizu and Seka. Shigeru then introduces himself, but no one believes him because there's no way in hell he is 16 still. Soji tries to cheer Shigeru up by offering some compliments before asking everyone if they were transported here after performing the ritual they saw on the internet. When everyone's story corroborates, they realize that they have indeed been transported to an isekai world. The girls discuss what they should do now with Soji, while Shigeru starts walking away, not having any plans to make friends. He isn't wearing any pants, so he goes to check the wardrobe for clothes when he finds a gold coin, but as he tries to collect it, it reduces to nothing, making him realize that this must be the result of picking the 0.001% income rate. Soji comes over to socialize with Shigeru, and then they explore the house together, finding many necessary materials for survival. Sage, acting as a natural leader, proposes that they divide all the stuff equally. Among the four of them, surprisingly, the clothes adapt and fit Shigeru's size, which makes everyone realize that there's some magic going on here. Seiji notices that they can divide every item equally, except for the gold coins. There are only 7 gold coins, and Rizu suspects that someone might have taken one already. Shigeru realizes that they will point fingers at him in no time, so he decides not to take any gold coins at all. Seiji hesitates, since this isn't really fair to Shigeru, but Seika interrupts, saying that since Shigeru didn't contribute anything during their search, he doesn't deserve the coins. She's, of course, accusing Shigeru falsely, but Shigeru doesn't bother arguing with her, and asks Soji if he can have the axe in exchange for not taking his share of the gold coins. The axe is the best weapon out of the 4, so nobody agrees to this deal. Soji, who was acting nicely all this time, accidentally calls Shigeru selfish, but takes his words back instantly, claiming he was talking about himself. He goes into an explanation about how in his past life, he was this selfish shy guy who unintentionally caused trouble for people around him, and that's why he is trying to turn over a new leaf. In this life, Soji figures Shigeru is also a shy person, and even so he encourages Shigeru to work together to conquer this world ultimately. Shigeru doesn't get his axe, and through a fair game of rock, paper, scissors, he gets left with a wooden club, the worst weapon out of them all. Before leaving the house, Soji stretches out his hand, wanting to shake hands with everyone, but Shigeru refuses, not wanting to make friends, knowing that he will only be used by them. For now, he tags along with the others, who decide to head to the nearest town, but he secretly plans to bail out, wanting to go solo in this life. As they conclude that they're going to Iria, Seka opens the door to lead them out, but she's shocked to see a tiny monster in front of them. She runs to the back, while Soji steps forward to fight the monster. He hits it and it dies immediately. Shigeru watches Soji's reflexes and realizes he's not just smart, he always knows exactly what to do. Unfortunately for them, the monster in front of them isn't alone. Instead, it's a multitude. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and now they have to step up. Seiji divides the team. He takes one of the girls to fight at the front and tells Seika to use her bow, while Shigeru covers for them. Seiji charges forward to fight. Shigeru watches him, wondering why he ever said he was shy. The qualities he's seeing in him now are nothing like a shy person. Seika struggles with her bow. She can't even set it properly or place the arrow. This entire reincarnated team would have been doomed, if not for Sage and the other girl, holding the front line. At one point, one of the monsters slips behind them, and into the house. Soji yells at Shigeru to fight it, but Shigeru can't even manage that. He struggles with the monster and tries to run, but there's no escape. He finally realizes the reason he's like this, even in this life, is because he didn't allocate his bonus stats properly before the time ran out at midnight, so he barely has any power now. He wrestles with the monster, and after a desperate chase, he hits it and it dies immediately. His system pops up a notification that he's upgraded to level 31. He sees he's earned more bonus points, and now has the time to allocate them properly. He overhears the other girl say she's leveled up too, and Soji has upgraded as well. He notices he can't see other people's system notifications, which means he has to decide everything alone. Now that he has enough bonus points, he upgrades all his abilities into the millions. When he's done, the system tells him he's reached the stage of the Absolute God. Indeed, the Absolute God has emerged. He can't wait to test this new power, so he spots a monster beside him and taps it lightly with his fingertip. The monster vanishes into the sky. He's shocked he's that powerful now. He sees Seka struggling with her bow and decides to help her. He knows she doesn't see him as strong because of how he looks, so he pretends to stumble and begs her, saying the bow is calling to him and she should let him hold it. She reluctantly hands it over. The moment he holds it, he sets it perfectly. She's shocked and asks if he was in the archery club in their past life. She asks if he needs an arrow to use it. Since he wants to test his archery skills too, he asks for one. He shoots the arrow and it flies into the sky. He assumes that means he failed, but when the arrow reaches the sky, it creates a magic circle and kills all the monsters on the ground. The monsters vanish one by one. Seka stares at what just happened. and asks who he really is. He lies and says he really was a member of the archery club. And as you'd expect from a naive girl, she accepts his excuse without a problem. He's even surprised she's gullible enough to buy it. She asks for her bow back, and he gives it to her. The monsters aren't all gone yet, so there's still fighting to do. Now that she has her bow, she rushes to help the others, and Sage tells her to cover them. She sets her arrow, but shoots it so high it doesn't hit any monsters. Even the monsters look at her, wondering how she could be so clueless. Sage sees she's useless in this fight, so he tells the other girl to keep fighting. They continue while Sekka wastes all her arrows, without killing a single monster. She feels terrible for being so useless. Seeing this, Shigaru decides to buy arrows for her from his system. He places the arrows behind her, and calls her attention to them, pretending they just appeared from nowhere. She picks up the arrows and shoots them high again, without checking her aim. Eventually, Soji and the girl finish the fight, and Sekka runs to them happy they've won. They decide to continue to the town as planned. Shigeru chooses to follow them. He wouldn't even know his way if he didn't. They reach Iria Kingdom, and the place looks beautiful. Their first kingdom in this new world, and it's a sight to behold. After the stress of reincarnation and the battle, they're starving, so their first stop in the city is a restaurant. Luckily, they find a hamburger restaurant, and Sekka excitedly leads everyone inside to eat. Shigeru decides it's about time he left them. He wanders off to another part of the kingdom, thinking about the path he wants for himself. In this life, he's hungry and broke. They'd used up all their team funds. As he thinks and feels like petting it, he stops himself, remembering the rule he set before reincarnating. Every time he touches a woman, his HP drops by 10%. Not a woman, so he touches it. After playing around, he hears a voice. It's Sika. She tells him she knows he's broke, a joke he's sick of hearing. But she says it anyway, and hands him a burger she bought, because he helped her fix her bow earlier. He remembers that he did help her, and since he's starving, he accepts the hamburger. Unfortunately, his hand brushes hers, and his system triggers the rule he made earlier. A surge of energy hits him so hard he can't control it. He falls to the ground, and the burger smacks the wall. She's mad at him for wasting her food, but he's more worried about the energy he just lost. He knows he can't let her stay angry, so he uses some of the sales skills he honed in his past life. He tells her it was her beauty that made his hand tremble. He's impressed and gives him the second burger she bought for her own dinner. He tries to refuse, but she reminds him he's broke, and says she's giving it to him because he helped her with the arrows. He happily accepts it. The others arrive and urge them to move along, although he's not interested in sticking around them. He knows Sekka is genuine and kind-hearted, so he wants to repay her kindness first. He decides to stick around for a while, at least until he pays her back. How will this strong hero, who can't touch women, survive here? Watch out.